The courtroom in Manhattan was silent, yet alive with tension. The wood-paneled walls seemed to press inward as if they too were waiting for the verdict. On the bench sat Judge Harrison, his silver-rimmed glasses catching the fluorescent light. He was known for his sharp mind and sharper tongue, and everyone in the room knew he would not tolerate games. At the defense table sat Daniel Cole, a man in his mid-30s. He wore a simple black suit that looked slightly too large for him, as if borrowed at the last minute. But what caught everyone's attention was not his clothing, nor even the seriousness of the charges against him. It was his smile. From the moment he walked into the courtroom, Daniel had been smiling, calm, almost amused, as if he knew something the rest of the world did not. The prosecutor, Amanda Reese, stood tall and confident. Her voice rang out across the room as she laid out the charges: fraud, conspiracy, obstruction of justice. The case had already made headlines. Millions of dollars had vanished from an investment firm, and the trail seemed to lead directly to Daniel. "The evidence is clear," Amanda declared, holding up documents for the jury to see. "This man manipulated his colleagues, forged records, and profited while innocent people lost their savings. He betrayed trust. He betrayed the law." The jury sat in stony silence. Some scribbled notes, others simply stared at Daniel's ever-present smile. When it was the defense's turn, Daniel's attorney, Mark Stevens, rose from his chair. He was younger than Amanda, less polished, but he carried an air of quiet determination. "Ladies and gentlemen of the jury," he began, "my client is not a criminal mastermind. He is a scapegoat. The real perpetrators are hiding behind closed doors while Daniel sits here, accused of crimes he did not commit." He paced slowly, letting the words settle. "And I ask you, does this look like the face of a guilty man?" He gestured to Daniel, who only smiled wider, as though the question itself were part of some private joke. Judge Harrison frowned. "Mr. Cole," he said, leaning forward, "you seem unusually amused for someone facing years in prison. Do you care to explain yourself?" For the first time, Daniel spoke directly. His voice was calm, smooth, carrying through the hushed courtroom. "Your Honor, I smile because I know the truth. And the truth is that I am not guilty. Whatever happens here today, my conscience is clear." A ripple went through the courtroom. Some jurors shifted uncomfortably. A woman in the gallery whispered to her neighbor. The prosecutor narrowed her eyes. Amanda pressed forward, presenting emails, bank transfers, witness testimonies. Piece by piece, she built her case. Each document seemed to tighten the noose around Daniel. Still, he smiled. When it came time for cross-examination, Mark Stevens challenged everything. He pointed out inconsistencies in the witness accounts, errors in the financial records, and the convenient absence of key executives from the witness stand. "Ask yourselves," he told the jury, "why is all the blame placed on Daniel Cole? Why are the true architects of this scheme not sitting here instead?" Hours stretched into days. The trial was a spectacle, reporters filling the back rows, headlines running wild with speculation. Yet through it all, Daniel's composure never wavered. Finally, closing arguments arrived. Amanda stood before the jury, her voice steady. "Don't be fooled by a smile. Criminals often hide behind charm. Look at the evidence, not his expression. Look at the facts." Then Mark stepped forward for the defense's final word. "A smile can mean many things," he said. "In this case, it means peace. My client has nothing to fear from the truth, because the truth is on his side. If you punish him today, the real criminals will walk free. And that would be the greatest injustice of all." The jury disappeared into deliberation. Hours passed. The courtroom buzzed with quiet conversations, reporters drafting multiple versions of tomorrow's headlines. Daniel sat calmly, still smiling, his hands folded neatly on the table. When the jury returned, the foreman stood, holding the verdict slip with trembling fingers. The silence was electric. "On the charge of fraud, we find the defendant not guilty. On the charge of conspiracy, not guilty. On the charge of obstruction of justice, not guilty." Gasps filled the room. Amanda Reese's shoulders sagged, while Mark Stevens closed his eyes in relief. Judge Harrison looked sternly at Daniel. "You are a free man, Mr. Cole. But take my advice, whatever storm you've walked through, don't come back to this courtroom." Daniel rose, his smile unchanged. He bowed his head respectfully and walked out as cameras flashed. Reporters shouted questions, but he said nothing. He simply kept smiling, as though the entire trial had been a test only he understood. And for months afterward, people whispered about him. The man who faced the weight of the American justice system, and never stopped smiling.